All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on our monthly webinar. This month's topic is resources available to you and your employees. So we spend a ton of time here at Paper Trails making sure that you and your team have the tools to be successful. And we're really excited to share all the different things that you might not know you had access to. So we've got a lot of good things to go through today. So just a quick overview, we're going to talk about, the online tools, iSolved, everything that's built into there, all the integrations and partnerships we have, the resources that are available on our website. We have some other tools that we have access to. And don't forget all of our additional services. And then we'll have some time for questions and answers at the end. So let's jump right in. So, we spend a lot of time, our world is in iSolve. That's our core platform that we use to take care of all of you. For the most part, it is a great system. It has a lot of features and benefits, a lot of things you probably didn't know about, which we'll talk about. But the big thing that we want to make sure everyone knows about is the app and the online interface. So there is an iSolved People Cloud app. This is where your employees can log in and completely manage their payroll experience online. So this is an app or through myhrstuff.com. It's the exact same interface, but they may not be able to download the app if they don't have an iPhone or an Android device. So they can go right to myhrstuff.com. They go to myhrstuff.com. That is a mobile-friendly website. It works on a computer, works on a phone, or they can download the app. Within the app or the website, mobile website, they can go in, view their pay stubs, their W-2s, no more bugging you when they're going to buy a car or house. They can go in and update their direct deposit information on their own, adjust their tax selections. For new employees, you can onboard employees, you can offboard employees in here. We have full benefits enrollment technology in here. So when benefits enrollment comes up in January or whenever it comes, you can do an open enrollment, allow your employees to select all their benefits. It automatically updates to payroll and potentially could feed over to your carrier for automatic enrollment, no more forms and things like that. If you're using timekeeping, employees can clock in and clock out. They can also request time off from within there, and your managers can go ahead and review and approve those and see calendars and so forth. And if you're using expense reimbursement, employees can upload copies of receipts, can go ahead and submit any expense reimbursements that they may have in there as well. So lots of stuff that can be done within that app. And we definitely are trying to make sure that everyone is aware that the app exists, that they can get into MyHR stuff and are using everything that is available to them. We certainly know that some folks have issues logging in. That's the biggest question. So one of the really good things is iSolved is a very secure system. And that we employ multi-factor authentication to get logged in. I know that this has been a little bit of a hiccup the last few months as a lot of folks are getting in there. But we have some tools available at papertrails.com/help, where your employees can go in there, or you can see step-by-step instructions, videos. How do I reset my password? How do I download the app? How do I set up my account for the first time? All the common questions that you might have about the app. We also have these help cards. You can see that on the right side of the screen. We have physical help cards that we can give to you if you would like some. Please let us know and we can get those to you. These you can give to your employees. They have the most commonly asked questions and quick answers on how to do that, how to get those resolved. And certainly it sends them to papertrails.com/help for those videos. I would say 9 times out of 10, employees are not logging into the correct spot. So they're not going to myhrstuff.com, or they have not yet activated their account, which would require either you or us to go ahead and activate their account for them to set that up. So those are the most common issues. One of those requires some intervention, one doesn't. But certainly we want to make sure you have those tools available to you to help your employees. And like I said, we have physical help cards that if you want to hand those out to your team, we can give those to you to help troubleshoot as well. Please just let us know. So don't forget about papertrails.com/help. Lots of information there. So we do a lot of integrating with certain partners in different areas, right? So, we have a lot of integrations through iSolve where we can send and receive data to third parties. Just a few of them, we do retirement integration. So we have over 100 retirement providers that we can send 401k contribution data to. So if you're logging in to a retirement provider today to manually submit contributions, we may be able to help you. We certainly can go ahead and create an integration for you so that that data will either be pushed when you run payroll, one direction, that's a 180 integration, or potentially, if the integration is available, we can do a 360 integration, which basically means that if an employee makes a change on their portal, like a deduction amount, for example, it will push back right into iSolve, and there's no manual intervention needed. We have integrations with Merit, so if you're using Merit for your retirement program, we can submit those contributions to them as well. The retirement contributions work mostly for 401k providers. Simple IRAs are a little more difficult, though that technology is improving very slowly. But there are a few things we can do for the simple IRA folks. We can help you create custom reports and exports and things like that to help make that process a little easier. So if you have a retirement integration that you'd like to get set up, get in touch with us. Probably the biggest integration we do by far is for workers' comp pay-as-you-go integration. So MEMIC, Eastern Alliance, Hartford, Guard, Acadia, anybody that you have your workers' comp through, we can send wage data off to each payroll so that they're billing you for the premium due based on that workers' comp on the payroll that is being paid. It's not something you have to go through and do your estimates on. And then when the audit comes around at the end of the year, you will have to pay a big amount because we're sending the wage data off every single week, and they're going ahead and billing you for that wage data. Now, it doesn't stop the audit from happening, but it really, really, really reduces any major surprises in that audit because, again, we're sending the wages off every single time. So that's something you're interested, certainly let us go. No, that definitely is probably the number one integration we have. We set up all the class codes and manage those integrations for tracking. So benefits carriers, as I mentioned just a second ago, we can certainly integrate with your benefits carriers. If you are using open enrollment within the system and benefits administration within the system, you can go ahead and submit, well, excuse me, when the enrollment happens, we can submit the enrollments directly to your benefits carrier, whether it's Anthem or Delta Dental or Harvard or any of those folks, and create that integration so there's no more paper forms or manual data entry. I will note that benefits carriers, generally speaking, only allow carrier feeds for larger groups. So usually 50 or more is that amount. So that's something to consider, but certainly that is available as well. We have an integration with QuickBooks Online, and we can create general ledger reporting for you. So if you are using QuickBooks Online, we create a general ledger file that every time we run payroll, it pushes over into your bank register, and you don't have to manually break down wages, taxes, fees, deductions, any of those types of things in your general ledger. That's the only direct integration that we have is for QuickBooks Online, but we can create that general ledger report for any system and get your account numbers and or classes or anything like that you'd like configured in there, and a really easy to download report as an Excel or a CSV that you could upload to any general ledger system, regardless of what you're using. But certainly that's a nice feature as well. Working with our accountants and CPAs, we have the ability to give your accountant or your CPA access to a limited amount of data within the system. So if they're looking for reports every month or something like that, they have the ability, we can give them a limited login for them to come get that information or to pull your GL or anything they might need to do. So that's a really nice thing as well. Custom imports, exports, and reports. We can pretty much import, export, and report out on any data that's in the system. So if there's something that you need in terms of reporting, something you need to get into the system, certainly go ahead and get that over to us, and we can make those happen. Likewise, if you are using a point of sale or any other timekeeping system, generally speaking, we can import that into iSolve. So there's no manual data entry. So if you're collecting time in your point of sale system and you're printing out a report every week to enter into payroll or send us to enter into payroll, we can usually create an import for that so that there's no data entry on either end, which certainly reduces errors and saves time. So we do have the ability to create custom APIs. So if you have an ERP or something like that you want data flowing back and forth on a very consistent basis between iSolve and another system, we can develop those for you. And we create a lot of macros for this type of integration as well. So if you have something coming out of your point of sale system, we probably have to change the formatting a little bit, and our team will create a macro to do that pretty seamlessly and not have to worry about any of the technology stuff. So pretty neat stuff. We have a couple of partners that we work with. The first one is Payro. So Payro is designed specifically for payroll cash flow issues, right? So if you're having trouble covering payroll, maybe your cash flow is tight a certain time of year, or if your accounts receivable is delayed, we can get you introduced to Payro, and they do essentially lines of credit for payroll only. It works really slick. Usually they turn those approvals around within one day. And same day, once you're reviewed and approved, you can request funds. So on Monday, if you run payroll at 10 o'clock and realize, shoot, I don't have money to come out this week, you can go in and say, hey, I need to get a small loan. They wire you the money that day, and it's available so you don't bounce payroll. Certainly a nice feature there as well. And that's specialized to just payroll funding. We do have the HR Support Center. So in conjunction with our HR services, which we're going to talk about in a second, we have the HR Support Center, which allows for there's sample policies in there. There's HR questions, training templates, lots of documents in there that might be helpful to you. Lots and lots of information in Mineral in the support center as well. So E-Verify, we do have an integration with E-Verify. So in the state of Maine, you are not required to use E-Verify, but it is an option. There are some states that require you to use E-Verify in place of just a paper I-9. And we certainly can go ahead and create that integration for you. So when you onboard a new employee, you go in and say, I want to submit this to E-Verify. You don't have to manually enter their data into E-Verify each time. You just hit submit. Within 30 seconds, it comes back and tells you whether or not that employee is eligible to work within the United States. Really, really slick. Or potentially, hey, you need to go back out to E-Verify and take a look at your, something didn't match, right? There may be a reason that they're not able to work in the country, and that could be something that you'll find out as well. So TurboTax, so automatically all of our clients are signed up for this. So if any of your employees are using TurboTax, once they go ahead and enter their Social Security number and the company's EIN from their W-2, it's going to automatically pull in all of their W-2 data from iSolved securely. So we've seen a ton of this where folks enter the wrong information into their tax return, right? They don't know, they mix up box 1 and box 5 and put the wrong data in, and they might get an error when they're doing their taxes. We saw a lot of that this year. But if they're using TurboTax particularly, once they enter the EIN and the Social Security number, that W-2 information will automatically pre-populate into TurboTax so that there are no errors on their end. So that's a really slick thing. Again, everybody's automatically set up for that. Similarly to the work number. So all of our clients are automatically enrolled in the work number. Essentially what the work number is it's an employment verification and wage verification system. Again, securely pushed through the back end to Equifax. So if an employee is going to buy a car, they may not even need to present their pay stubs, because when they go submit a credit report to Equifax, do their loan application, the work number is going in and pulling that data on their behalf to get that information. It's doing the employment verifications, it's doing the wage verifications. So you don't, as an employer, one have to do those, right? I'm sure you filled out an employment verification for someone before. It will do that, and it will also verify their income and so forth. So to make that loan process easier. So that's a really nice back-end feature. Not, excuse me, not every creditor does that, but certainly it's another tool in the toolbox. Again, another tool that everybody's already enrolled in. When your employees log into MyHRStuff or download the iSolve People Cloud app, there is the employee marketplace. The employee marketplace offers deals, cashback, discounts on thousands of brands. Employees can go log into that and take a look at what they have access to for discount codes and so forth. Just another nice value add. Nothing that they need to do other than click on the link in the app or MyHRStuff, and they're there. And they automatically get thousands and thousands and thousands of discount codes and so forth. Really nice. So taking a step back, we have our welcome center on the website. So if you've been with us for a while, we've only been using this for the last couple of years, it may make sense to go to papertrails.com/welcome. This kind of goes over the basics of how we do things, processing deadlines, some basic training in iSolved, this kind of webinar that we're doing right now, the things you have access to that you didn't know you had access to, and of course, how to get in touch with us and so forth. So if you have a second, go to papertrails.com/welcome, take a look at everything. Again, go back to the basics on there as well. So on the website, if you go to the resources tab, again, we are really big on, we want to make sure that we are putting a ton of information out there for you on the things that you need in order to efficiently manage your business and your employees. So if you go to papertrails.com, click on the resources tab, or just go to papertrails.com/resources. You found us here, so you know how to get to our webinars, but you can sign up for the webinars. We usually publish the entire year's schedule at the beginning of the year. We're starting to think about what we're going to do for next year. So if you have suggestions, always please feel free to let us know about those. We have an archive of all of our past webinars. So if you miss one, you can go view those as well. We always shoot for about a half an hour or so. We try to keep them digestible as well. So but all of those are archived on the website and on our YouTube channel. So certainly we update our blog, and our newsletter is posted to the website every time we publish that. We are usually posting at least once a week to the blog with something going on, or if there's a question that someone has asked us, we're trying to answer it for you, and we publish those to the blog. So there's a lot of information out there. Certainly you can go search that. So if you have a question, maybe go search it first. If it's not there, let us know, and we'll either write one for you, we'll get the answer for you, and so forth. Merit has been a big thing, Maine's retirement mandate. We have a whole page devoted to that with all the information checklists that you could need to learn how to get signed up and manage that, as well as our year-end resources. So believe it or not, I think I have my first year-end meeting in 2 weeks. We are starting to think about year-end and getting ready for that. Last year's year-end resources are up there, posted, all the things you need to think about to get ready for year-end. And we will be updating that as we get closer to year-end. As we usually do, we send out our checklist and so forth for year-end. And that will be updated both on the website and multiple times through email, mail. We get that information out because it's critical that we get year-end right. We saw the help page. I solved help, papertrails.com/help. Lots and lots of videos and step-by-step tutorials on all those types of things. We create a lot of ebooks, checklists, guides on varying different topics, HR compliance, all sorts of different things are out there for you to go take a look at. Just go down through the list, see what's out there, learn. Hopefully something will help you. All of the employee documents and labor law posters are out there as well. So if you're looking for a W-4, if you're looking for an I-9, new employee paperwork is all out there. We do provide all the labor law posters for free if you want to go get them. We're going to talk about the labor law poster service in just a second, but those are out there as well. And we are very rapidly approaching paid family medical leave coming to Maine. Employers will have to begin making contributions into PFML in January. We are staying very close to that, keeping a very close eye on what that's going to look like. That is essentially an additional payroll tax, and we are paying attention to that a lot. We've been participating in the rulemaking process. We're very fortunate to have a couple of our clients on that board with the state, so we've been very closely monitoring that and keeping up to date and providing feedback on how the program is designed and managed. So certainly things that we're on top of. So we'll have lots of resources out there as soon as we know more. That once the final rules are published, we're hoping here in the next few weeks. The comment period just ended last week, and we're hoping that those final rules will be published and the state will give us more guidance on what the program is really going to look like. So we are scheduled our September webinar. We are scheduled to do a webinar on the paid family medical leave program, what we know essentially to date. I expect we likely will do a second webinar as it gets closer to the end of the year on how to enroll, what it means more specifically, and so forth. But the first introductory webinar, and we will have a member of the state team on that webinar. I'm not sure it's going to be the director or the assistant director. They've committed to helping us. It's on the calendar, and we will have them on there as well to help us really discover what is going to happen with PFML. So that's a big one. And again, we'll stay on top of that quite readily over the next several months. If you haven't heard, we do a podcast. I host a podcast every week. We do weekly episodes. They are launched on Tuesday. This, Small Business Big World is really designed to answer the questions and talk about all the things that we all struggle with as small business owners and managers. We've talked about everything from social media, video marketing to AI, real world diversity, equity, inclusion considerations. We've had this week's conversation was kind of using your equity in your business to increase your net worth as a business owner. There's all sorts of different topics we talked about, run the gamut. Certainly, we are always looking for guests. We're always looking for topics to talk about, but it's really good. We usually keep the episodes 20 to 30 minutes. Again, short, digestible, nothing crazy. If you want to see just a taste, certainly follow us across the social media spectrum at Small Business Big World. We're on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, all those places. The full episodes are posted to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, pretty much everywhere you can get your podcast. And the full episodes are also posted on YouTube. So if you want to watch us, we are there as well. We've had some really great episodes so far and a lot of great guests. So certainly something else to think about on your ride to work, or if you're traveling, you want to listen to a podcast, or if you just want to listen to me in the background while you're working, I'm always happy to do that too. So in the vein of social media, we do post a ton of content to social media as well. And this is largely educational. So a lot of the things that we're posting about in our newsletter, on our blog, we're also doing videos and posting them to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok. We are everywhere. You are as well. I encourage you to follow us because we really are posting a ton of content on there that is relevant to all the day-to-day things, right? I mean, the most recent big change 16 days ago was the FLSA wage limits for exempt employees, salaried employees. That changed. That's been a big thing we've talked a lot about on social and in our clips and so forth. So those are things that we try to make you aware of, and those are even shorter, right? Those are the reels that you're watching on Instagram or TikTok anyway. We're making those shorts so that you can learn about everything, and certainly always we're here to answer any questions that you have about any of those things we're posting. New to us here just this spring, Dawn Pahel has joined our team. She's fabulous. She is our HR consultant on staff. So she is here to help you manage all of your HR issues. She is SHRM certified, so she's wicked smart, as they say. We do have several different, product offerings and packages available for you. Our most, basic or introductory package really helps you lay the foundation for successful HR management, everything from handbooks, job descriptions, and so forth in that first level of package. And then it goes on and on and on about all the different things that you might need to know as you are building your HR platform in your company. We certainly create, the HR hotline. So if you have an HR issue, you'd like someone to just bounce an idea off of, you have to terminate an employee, you have a performance issue, you have whatever, certainly Dawn is available for those in these kind of things. Trainings, employee compliance, hiring and firing, all those types of things are available from Dawn as well. And she's really been digging in and helping clients get organized from an HR perspective. So don't forget about that. That is available in full description of everything right on the website, all the HR consulting services. Again, one-off, recurring, there's different options for you depending on what you're looking for. So really great. And Dawn is on our webinar today, I think, but she's wonderful. And we'll continue to do more introductions to her over the next couple months. I mentioned labor laws. So labor law posters are a big compliance item. We are pretty fortunate here in Maine that our labor law posters don't change often, usually about once a year. They are updated. However, you are required as an employer to post in a conspicuous and accessible place labor law posters for all of your employees, including your remote employees. So if you have remote employees, you need to make sure they have access to all of the applicable labor law posters in their jurisdiction. So if you have someone working in Massachusetts or Florida or California, and you may not have a physical location, you still have to give them a digital copy of those labor law posters, and they have to be accessible when they're updated. So we now have a service that we're offering for labor law poster compliance, which allows you'll get one of these fancy laminated posters for the office. Anytime they're updated, you'll get new versions of it. And certainly sometimes that's once a year, sometimes it's more than once a year. But you will, every time that labor law poster is updated by a state or federal or even local jurisdiction, right? If you're in Portland and there's Portland minimum wage and they update their minimum wage poster, that will be included in this as well. And again, we have the ability to set up remote employees as well, so that if you have remote employees and they need to have access to these labor law posters, which they do, they will get a login to go do so. And we actually will have an integration within iSolved very shortly for those to show up in the app as well. So lots of different things there. This is a key thing. I will tell you, we've had a couple of clients go through wage and hour audits the last couple of years. They are looking for these. If they are not updated, they will fine you, and the fines are substantial. So certainly something to think about as well. Other services, things that you may not know we did. We do have integrated timekeeping and scheduling, clocking in, clocking out, time off requests, all the different time policies you may have can be in there, labor allocation reporting and so forth. We have a full applicant tracking and hiring system. So if you're, what you can do with that is you post all your jobs in this one system. The iSolved Hire goes out, post them on all the different job boards, Indeed, LinkedIn, wherever you're posting, and even your local job boards. Like when I post a job, we post them on the college and the university job boards. Any local types of things you can do can be posted there as well. When someone applies, it pulls it right back into one system. So you're not managing 5 different websites to recruit from. It's all comes into one system. Within there, you can rate, review, schedule. You can text the candidate from within there. Lots of things you can do. Once you can schedule interviews, virtual interviews, there's Zoom integrations, calendar integrations. It's really a slick system for hiring and so forth. Once you go ahead and get that employee hired, you go ahead and click hire, and it kicks off the new employee onboarding within iSolved, and they go ahead and fill out the new employee paperwork, and they're right in the system. Really integrated, really slick. Then we talked about the onboarding and offboarding. Onboarding, fully electronic onboarding, no need to print off W-4s, I-9, direct deposit forms, and so forth. All of that can be done completely electronically online in that app, as we talked about earlier. Similarly with offboarding. So if you have employees who are leaving, you can create a workflow within your organization so that if you have an IT person that may need to sign off on deleting users, or you want to make sure your benefits are terminated, or facilities needs to get their keys back or deactivate their key card, you can create an offboarding process within the system so that that kind of checklist is happening virtually and everything's getting accounted for. So we talked about the benefits administration. So new open enrollment annually and for new employees can be set up, built in. All of your benefits plans are built in the system, tracked, organized, pretty slick in terms of that. If you're using a carrier feed, as soon as you approve that enrollment, it automatically flows over to the benefits carrier, whether it's Anthem or Delta or Harvard or whoever you might have. All those carrier feeds can be set up. Expense management. So if you have employees who are submitting reimbursements for expenses, they can certainly do that right online. So if it's mileage or meals or education or office supplies or any of those types of things, we set all those categories up. Employees upload their receipts, any other supporting documentation or instructions you may want, and that will flow right into payroll, get them reimbursed. Of course, there's an approval process that needs to go through there. You can set up different levels of approval, very customized to whatever you need. And again, those get paid out through the next regular scheduled payroll or whenever you want to pay them out, really. And it counts for it in your general ledger and tracking and all that stuff. Really nice. All the compliance documents that you might need, whether it's a Section 125 document, ERISA wrap document, the Section 127, the 129s, all the different compliance documents that are the types of things that unfortunately just sit in the file. These are usually your pre-tax benefit compliance documents for your, if you want to if you want to take deductions from your employees on a pre-tax basis, you generally have to have one of these compliance documents in place. And we certainly can help you with that. We talked about the labor law poster service. Giving and volunteering, we have a full volunteer tracking system and a system where employees can make selections to donate to different charities right through payroll. The volunteer tracking is certainly something that is more and more popular as organizations are being, are really looking at that triple bottom line, thinking about their social impact and so forth. So tracking that is something that's available as well. That is completely free, really, really good product there. Learn and grow. So we certainly have a full learning management system. So there are thousands of educational trainings that you can give to your employees that will allow them to train on all the mandatory things, right? Sexual harassment, computer data terminal, any of those types of trainings are in there. But you can also create and upload your own training. So if you wanted to have a training on a specific, you wanted to create a customer service training program and upload that, and you can enroll all your employees in that, assign them to certain tracks, and create all that stuff. Really great, nice product there as well. And then HR tracking and reporting. There's a ton of tracking, kind of ties in with everything. You can track assets, you can track certifications, employee contacts, emergency contacts, things like that. All within here. There's some basic performance review things in here. Lots of HR tracking and reporting that can help you manage the business and keep track of your employees and data. So we talked a lot about a lot of things. We try to keep these, like I said, to about a half an hour, and we're right there. But I am more than happy to answer any specific questions about any of these things. If anything piqued your interest or you have a question about any of them, please let me know, or always feel free to reach out to your processor here on our team, and we can certainly explain any more. But the chat's open, the Q&A is open. Raise your hand. We can chat about whatever is on your mind. Not seeing anything come up here, but certainly, again, if anybody has any specific questions, we are always happy to answer those. Reach out to your processor. Get in touch with me if you'd like. We're happy to answer any questions or go into any more depth on any of these particular types of things, certainly lots and lots of things that we can help you with, and we want to make sure that we're there to do so. So we will be back here next month for our webinar, third Tuesday of the month in August. And don't forget to sign up under that resources tab on the website that we talked about earlier. So otherwise, thanks so much, everyone, and have a great afternoon.